Hey everyone out there in the listening world, you are joining in on Martini at Brands. So now is the time to go grab that martini. Martina says nobody likes brand muffins, but get yourself a brand muffin. She said they're dry. Did you hear it? They're
Everybody
dry.
likes martinis though.
I don't like vodka, honey. So now is the time to go grab that martini and a brand muffin, honey. If you don't have a good recipe, you better hit me up on Instagram and I'll send you a good one. And we are going to dive into our conversation today, which is
being worried about the wrong shit.
Say it again, say it again.
Being worried about the wrong shit.
What does that mean? So we are really going to dive into this fuckery topic because there's so many elements to touch on.
We're Martini at Brands. We can only speak about our own experience. And I was going to talk about where does it all begin, but fuck my kids. I don't feel like talking about their ass right now. They get on my damn nerves. Brand kids keep coming in here. Kiki kaka. It's like, get out of here, kids. Fuck these kids. Mama can't work. It's all good. I love my nieces and nephews. They're sweet. But yeah.
But they in here worried about the wrong shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
They worried about it. What we in here doing. My man. Wait. Listen. You come on, kids. So
in a nutshell, our recording studio, of course, is at Brand's house, Brandy.
It's where it all originated.
So yeah, the kids are in the background, but to get real and serious, worrying about the wrong shit, it's something that is plaguing us as people, as a community, in every aspect of our lives, from our children, our relationships, our work, being a co-worker, being a bystander on the street, driving on the freeway, in traffic. Like, in all seriousness, worrying about the wrong shit and how it impacts your life, how it doesn't impact your life. Are you one that really can go through life not worrying about anything?
The issues behind worrying about the wrong shit.
Mm-hmm.
When you worry about the wrong shit, it causes you to stress.
Mm-hmm.
It causes you to not self-reflect, yet deflect.
Mm-hmm.
It causes you to gossip and talk about shit that you have no idea what you're talking about.
What you're talking about, third-party gossip. You just running your mouth about somebody else's business that is not about to pay your bills.
No.
Make you happy.
They
or give you good positive energy to put back out, to gain something else different.
Being worried about the wrong shit causes, I would say, just overall misery and unhappiness. And now that transcends into what you said. Now you're going out being an ugly person to other people around you. You're just spreading the ugly. The worry that, hell, I probably wasn't worried about it until you said something.
Absolutely. I know Martina just said she didn't want to talk about her kids. And she only said that because her original thought was, at what point in life do you begin to worry about the wrong stuff? And she was saying, to me, that she feels like it starts in your childhood. And I had said to her, like, yo, that's because generational curses and things are real. In natural form, I think we pass down things, our beliefs, our non-beliefs, to our children. So they're very prone to picking up on those behaviors and then going into their environment, the schoolyard or something, and deflecting. I'll kind of elaborate on that, Tina, so that people know, where you were going with the idea of where it started. I remember we talked about the kids and you were talking about your son coming home and caring about things that pretty much impacted his day.
Yeah, just the negative things that he brings up to me that happened in his day. I don't like to hear negative things that happen in your day. It doesn't do anything to benefit you. It doesn't make you a happy person. It's just like, son, when you come home, tell me what went right in your day. Tell me how you had fun in your day. Tell me something that you learned. Dwelling on the negative about how this person did that to you and how this went wrong or this didn't go the way you thought it should go, you're worried about the wrong thing. Be happy about what went right in your day, what went in your favor in your day. I always say to him, when he comes at me with all this negativity, you got food to eat, you got a roof over your head, you have a family that loves you, you have a support system. Those are all the things that matter. So everything else that you saying about how so-and-so was mean to you, people are mean, son. Tell them that all the time. People are mean. I'm a prime example of being a mean person. I am the sweetest can be, but I can also be an asshole. I don't like to be an asshole. I'm passive-aggressive asshole.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, don't worry about that shit, Tyal. That has nothing. Don't be concerned. Don't let that drag you down. Don't let that make you unhappy. Control what's in your control. And the only thing that you can control is you and how you react to the situation. I feel like everything is a snowball effect, right? So if I come at you crazy and combative, the natural reaction, right, is to come back at that person how they came at you.
Of course, what's the saying? Fight fire with fire. Mm-hmm. But does that make any damn sense?
And then where does it take you? At the end, now you're both mad. Now you probably burned a bridge. Now you're not friends anymore. Instead of like, I don't know, just let that person, let a fool be a fool, right? Let a fool be a fool. Let that person talk. Let their foolishness out. Maybe they need to let it out. Maybe it's been sitting on their chest and now you're the recipient of that foolishness because they was worried about something else. So now they got to put that on you. Now they got to put that worry and stress on you. Now you holding it. Now your day is bad. Now you coming here telling me about how shit didn't go right for you. It's all a snowball, a domino effect. Stop it at the front door. I don't want to hear that shit. Stop worrying about the wrong shit.
So that's your take on your children worrying about the wrong shit. So pretty much always starting with the negative as opposed to leading with the positive. Mm-hmm. And you know, that kind of goes into, you remember I was telling you about the movie that I watched, Blind Spotting. We made a joke. I think Martina posted it on our Instagram live story. Friday or Saturday we were hanging out and I was telling her about this movie, and it's with the new Mr. Noodle from Sesame Street. What's his name?
David Diggs.
David Diggs,
if you're listening.
Yes, if you're listening. I love the movie.
I love Mr. Noodle.
I think it's Blind Spotting.
Okay, I'll check.
But it, you know, it takes me back to that idea. Maybe Tyal is starting with the negative because it's like blind spotting. His mind identifies the negative first. Though there are two different ways to look at this picture. In the negative, there came a positive. In the negative, you learned a new communication technique. In the negative, it's of telling your mom, you know, somebody hit me with a ball today, or so-and-so said something to me that wasn't very nice. You being able to spin that around for him to show him you're focused on the wrong things. You're worrying about the wrong shit. And sometimes we can't always do that because our minds are in a position to worry about the things that have nothing to do with us or that's out of our power or out of our control. People are going to be who they are. Kids are going to say, you know, what they want. So I really think it's all in how Tyal processes it and the lessons he wants to get from the day-to-day in that. But yeah, that movie Blind Spotting, for me, what you just said with Tyal is a good example of how it can be one picture but viewed different ways. Mm-hmm. But originally your brain is going to go off of its first concept of how it analyzes it. And maybe Tyal is always going in looking
for the negative.
As opposed,
well, that's a part. Yo, we all go into things looking at the negative. Like, why are we worried about the wrong shit? Why are we trying to figure out what's going to go wrong instead of allowing to come in what's right?
I remember when I was worrying about the things that, you know, didn't matter. Like, for instance, Ian used to hang out at one of his old friends' house they called The Block. And when they would go to the block, they would be on the block for hours drinking, hours hanging out. And I used to have this mindset like it was disrespectful to come into the house after 3 o'clock, or it was disrespectful not to come home. And then I would put myself in a fury worrying about the negative. My mind was always attracted to Well, if he's out past 3 o'clock, it ain't nothing but trouble at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's some booty you trying to get at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's something you trying to cover up if you're not coming home at a certain time. So I put myself in the position to identify the negative, and that was a point in my life where I had a concern about your behavior and how you were supposed to act or carry yourself in our relationship. Now that I'm older, I realize that was me trying to control a situation that had nothing to do with me. Why am I worried about the fact of him coming home? It wasn't really because I was worried about his car being wrapped around a tree and he was dead. And if he was, then the responders would find his ID, call his mom, and someone would still notify me, you know? That wasn't my concern. It was the negative of, oh, are you fucking with somebody else? Oh, what are you doing? You're telling secrets. Who you at? Whose house are you at? What club are you going to? Then when you leave that spot, where are you going to?
Yeah, and like, does all of that even matter?
Does it even matter? And it really didn't. As I've grown and I've gotten older, I realized that it was my insecurities reflecting. So my weaknesses onto him because, you know, before I got with Ian, I kind of played the field.
She was living
a good life. Yeah, I was doing a whole lot. But prior to me doing a whole lot, I was in a relationship for 7 years. And that 7-year relationship, it was new. I was young. I moved too fast, right? In that 7-year relationship.
Puppy love. That's what you do.
And it didn't build me up on a strong trust factor. Understanding that trust is something that's earned, but in order for me to trust you, I have to trust myself. And I think at that time when I was my most insecure, I guess you would say, with Ian, I didn't trust myself. I was questioning him about things that I know I was capable of doing, or that I could play back in my life when I was hanging out with friends, or I was the wingman, or a date or a hangout went all the way left, and you're in a situation that if you had to explain it to your significant other, they would think you were lying or it didn't make sense.
No, this is unreal. I hear unreal stories all the time. I'm like, yo, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Like, yes, it happened. It's like, what?
Right. So it was my fear of knowing shit happens, right? Shit happens that's out of our control. You don't have the power to control it. So I think I was being controlling. Worrying about the wrong shit for me is always when I know I'm trying to be overbearing and controlling.
Control the situation.
I'm wanting to take the power on, and then I have to realize when I get there, it only makes me toxic. I become a nag. It's really, no point. Like, I don't want to be funny, but, in Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby had made that comment. He lived by his motto that his dad gave him, like, if you're not first, you're last. And maybe that's why we worry about the wrong shit, because we're always in this rat race of being right or being one up or being first or, just winning. And that shit is made up. So I found being worried about the wrong shit only brings me trouble. And I still get into a position where I do worry about things that have nothing to do with me. But in my journey of healing and meditating and being a mom and being in a functional relationship where I know we have the power to come and go as we please, I'm learning when I get there how to pull myself out of, worrying about the wrong shit. I've done it in traffic.
Yeah, you were giving that example in the car about when somebody look-a-hooers. We was talking about look-a-hooing. Yep, people in LA traffic, you worried about the wrong shit. Somebody in a car accident on the other side of the road. Ooh, what's that? Who they doing?
Yeah, you're look-a-hooing. Looking and the who is that? Who?
Listen, we all trying to get somewhere, okay? They ain't getting there right now. So stop look-a-hooing and just proceed forward. Worry about your own shit. Move forward in your own life. Worrying about the wrong shit, like I said earlier, it makes you deflect. You're not reflecting on yourself and what is best for you and how you need to improve, because you're too busy worrying about the next man. 2019, I'm not giving out advice. I'm not doing it. First of all, people don't listen to my wonderful, grade A, PhD, no master's advice, okay? Nobody listens to my advice. And I can't give out advice for other people because I don't know what's right for them in their life. Like, I don't walk your life. I don't know your experience. And when people talk to me about what's going on in their life, it's a one-sided story.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
So it's like, I don't even know what that other person is, what that person has to say about the situation, how they perceive the situation. Because for all I know, hell, both of y'all is wrong. Both of y'all could have did things differently. I don't know. I'm only getting the one-sided story. So 2019, I'm going to be the friend that listens with intent. I'm not going to give you direction. I'm just simply going to listen.
So for you definitely feel like giving advice in the past has been you worrying about the wrong shit.
Yeah. And I'll give the example of my previous relationship, my 10-year relationship that I had with my son's father. He struggles with addiction, and he has a lot of other, we all have personal issues that we deal with. Some of us deal with it differently. I don't want to place judgment on how people deal with stuff. We all deal with things differently. Now, in being, he would always say to me, you knew who I was when you met me. You knew who I was when you met me. And I never wanted to accept that. The whole time we were together, I never wanted to accept that.
Why didn't you want to accept it?
I didn't want to believe it because, I didn't want to accept it for multiple reasons. I've known this man since I was 12 years old. So I feel like it's two parts. I don't want to accept it because I know who you truly are and what you're capable of. And I feel like what you're saying is just an excuse to go on about your behavior. I feel like if you were really truly happy with this person you say you are, you wouldn't be this toxic person. But in me saying that, what am I really saying about myself? That's why, to kind of not go too off track, but this is definitely a podcast topic for later about being impeccable with your word, really watching what you're saying, because circle back, why I don't give advice. What am I really saying? Am I really saying what's good for you, or am
you're
I
saying
really
what's
saying
good for you?
Good for myself,
yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
Really being cognitive of what you're putting out there.
What you're putting out, yeah.
Not giving advice, but to go back to my relationship, I feel like the demise of it was me always giving advice. You know what you should do, what you should try, do this, do that.
As opposed to you doing what you were telling him to do, like what you should have done and what you should have been trying for yourself, what worked for you.
Yeah, just not being worried about him, being a better support system. To me, I feel like at the time being a support system was telling him what to do. In retrospect, no, that's not what's best. I should have at that time been a better listener. We got together when we were fairly young, in our mid-20s, had a child in our late 20s. And, that's just life experiences teaches you things to, if you're wise, you need to learn from experiences, right? These lessons that are put in your life. So, I became a nag in the relationship of always trying to steer him in what I thought was the right direction. And,
well, that was, you had brainstormed and researched, and you looked up the definition of worry. And one of the things that we pointed out was it gives way to anxiety, and it also allows you to dwell on difficulties and troubles. So in actuality, you were worried about the wrong shit because you were dwelling on the difficulties and troubles.
On everything that would go wrong.
And you know what's so funny about that? Like, if you really listen to what you said, when you first started, you started talking about Tayal coming home and always starting with the negative. And you said that it starts with the children. And I was just saying, I think a lot of things are cycles passed down from generation to generation, generational curses. And that's exactly it. Like, you were doing it with Dad in pointing out his difficulties, pointing out his areas of opportunities. And again, if you reverse that, instead of I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong, instead of I'm going to show you what looks
What's
about
best.
right, for this situation, of course, the outcome probably would have been different. But that is, like I said, being able to identify with when you fall off the wagon, when you have become
overly
victim.
consumed in somebody else's
life.
in somebody else's life. Like, I totally lost direction, and this is when women become upset, we become bitter. Oh, our husband, our significant other, our, whoever your significant other is, male or female, they get to have more fun than me. They get to do more than me. They get to come and go as they please. You're worried about the wrong shit.
Yeah, it is hard. You do, as a mom of 3 and being in a relationship, I always make joke too. I feel like single moms have it easy because you're raising a child on your own, and not really on your own. It still always takes a village, but you're raising a child without those added opinions and thoughts on how things go. You don't have to ask permission when you implement change. You can just do it. It's that control aspect and being able to handle the truth. Your truth is, you're worried about what your husband or your significant other is doing because you're not able to go out and have as much fun as they are. In my relationship, daddy is free to come and go as he pleases. We equally split drop off and pickups. But during the day, daddy's pretty much gone. I run a business from home, so I get the flexibility of my schedule and being home. So throughout the day, I do have time for myself, but it's not as much time because I volunteer a lot at the school.
Well, yeah, and then it's not even real time to yourself because you're working.
Because I'm working. I'm doing things, So, like, by the time I pick up the kids and I come home and I feed them and I do, bath time or whatnot, Ian is about to come through the door. And there has been times where Ian will come through the door, and as soon as he walks through the door, he'll head back out. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to run to the store. I'm going to go hang out, at the homie house and watch the game. And I used to nag about it. Like, oh, you're just going to run out, or you're not going to ask me if I need any help. And it was really because I was worried that he was having more fun than me. I didn't get to have that fun, worrying about the wrong things. But then when I changed my mindset and how I handle the household or my time management, I realized like I could get as much time and freedom as I wanted to, even if it wasn't involving daddy and it was planning and calling a sitter or arranging play dates or different things for me, to break away. But when I was worried about, oh, is he going to be fair to me? Or I was trying to control the situation, like, well, if I got to be home, you have to be home with me too. It definitely taught me to control my own life.
Control your controllables.
If I want something and I don't feel like you're meeting me halfway, how do I go about obtaining that freedom that I want? And it's definitely not by worrying about what you're doing at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at my notes. Me and my damn notes. I wasn't fully paying attention. I was worried about the wrong shit. I was worried about what I was finna say next instead of listening to my friend talk. Well, we definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. I mean, Martini and Brands is all about feedback and putting a different perspective in what we're saying. There isn't, maybe worrying about somebody else's shit worked out for you. Shit, I want to hear it. How did it work out in your favor? Did it change the situation? Did the outcome be what you thought it was? I would really love to hear that.
Being worried about the wrong shit makes you a nag.
That's a bar. Say it again for the listeners to get it.
Being worried about the wrong shit makes you a nag.
Right.
And we do not like to be called nags, but
that's like being called a bitch.
We are.
It comes with that type of like, bitch, you always nagging.
Because being a nag is like being a fruit fly, being a fly, being ants in the summertime.
A pest.
Pestering, like you're flying, you're that mosquito that every time I turn off the light at night, you hear it coming. Has that ever happened to you? Like where you were sleeping and you heard a mosquito? And then you wake up.
I wish.
And you try to find it and they hide so well, watching you, laughing at you while they're hiding. Like, oh, she thought she was about to find me, but
about to eat her ass up.
Tear me down. And my mosquito bites will look crazy as shit. Like they will look like speed bumps. You know, I don't know if I'm allergic. Never had a test, but it definitely does me in. But it makes you a nag. It makes you very pestering. And I know that I don't like to be a nag. I've learned I don't like to hear myself too much anymore. And for a long time, I would always hear myself because I would always be talking, telling somebody else what they need to do. Like, let me do my own shit. Worried about the wrong shit. Yeah. I definitely have gone through a cycle of life being worried about the wrong shit and flipping it around. But being a nag, Ian used to tell me that, like, you nag. The kids will let you know.
Oh, yeah.
That you nag.
And I don't like being a nag. I don't like being a nag either. It's like, first of all, like you, I don't like to hear myself repeat myself. And that, like, hear me once.
Yep.
I only want to have to say it once.
And honestly, sometimes I just really want to shut the fuck up. Because for me, I laughed at myself the other day. I was talking to myself in my head and I spoke out loud. And Ian was like, yo, I'm sitting in the bathroom with you and you just said something and responded to yourself. And I laughed like, oh, I said that out loud. And he's like, yeah, duh, like you look like a crazy person. And then I said, why does that have to be crazy? I talk to myself all the time. So even when I'm not talking, I'm talking. When physically my mouth is not moving, my mind is talking a lot. So when I have to speak to the children and yes, be repetitive in something I'm saying, I get mad at them like, yo, you're making me talk more than I really want to. Like, make this easy for the both of us so I can shut the fuck up.
Right.
And I don't have to hear myself. And you just snap onto and get what it is I'm asking you for. And something I've been going through, the organizing and keeping myself in track, I've been really going through the kids' room for the last month. I started before we got into the holidays because I had already known they were going to get toys and things that they didn't need. I started realizing more and more like being a minimalist for me allows me not to worry about shit.
Shit makes people worry.
Yep.
It's like physical weight that you can see that sits on your back.
Yeah, and somebody told me in a clever way. I had a lunch date with a business friend of mine, and she said, you have to let things go because they become shackles. And you don't even realize that having a lot of things it's a shackle. But I always go back and forth with the kids, like, keep your room clean, keep your room clean. I sound like a nag. And then I'm worrying about why they can't keep their room clean as opposed to me. Control my controllables. What's in my control? And you know what was in my control? Being a minimalist. They have too much stuff. They have way more things than they have for space. They have way more things than they actually utilize and play with. They have way more things that they even care about. Marley is compulsive on things like journals. She'll have 3 journals and will randomly write in the pages of them. So every time I would go to throw one away, I wasn't compelled to do so because there would be her writing in there. And then I had to tell her, like, New Year, we're starting all over. You get 1 journal. And your brainstorms, your art, your thought, get you a sketchbook that's big enough to house all of this for that year. It made me process how I was talking to the kids about keeping their room clean, that I was nagging, but then I was nagging and being worried about them keeping their room clean as opposed to giving them the tools and the success to do it. Set them up for success. I dropped things off today at writer school, and the teacher laughed and was like, you've been cleaning the house for like the last week, huh? Because slowly every day I'm dropping off a bag and stuff. And I said to her, I was like, actually it's been ongoing for about a month and I need about 1 more week and then I'm done. But not giving them so much to be overwhelmed of things that they didn't need to cause that worry and that stress on me, like, let me help you keep your room clean. You don't need this junk. This is junk.
It is junk. And it's all made in China. Junk that's made in China. When you really self-reflect, we are doing these things to ourselves. Like, why are we so worried? Why do we need to have all this control? Control is made up. I had that conversation with my friend the other day. He's like, you can control da-da-da-da. No, you can't control people. You can't control things that happen to you. You can control how you react to the situation, which then how you react may in turn change how that person reacted to you.
I get what you're saying. Control isn't made up because we have a whole population of people being run off of physical control, off of control, a big business, a food industry, not their natural willpower or desire to do. Being worried about the wrong shit is a form of control. I said that, so control is a real thing. It's how you let it impact your life. But it's for sure real.
Going back to when we were talking about being a nag.
Nags give you wrinkles and lines, honey.
They
and
do.
It's not enough facials
on your forehead,
and Botox and whatever else you do to get you healthy and looking good. So nagging definitely comes with being worried about the wrong shit, because if I'm nagging and poking you, I'm not doing my part. If you're doing your part, there is really no room for worry, because I don't need to tell you that you didn't clean the dishes because I already cleaned them. Learning to not care enough about what you're not doing right in my book. It's my book, write my pages. Clean the dishes. Sometimes I do feel like, oh, I'm a housekeeper. I'm a maid. My job as a mother is not a thankful job. It's very thankless. People just step all over me. Nobody says like, Mom, are you hungry?
Use you.
Absolutely. Hey, I signed up for it, right?
It's the role.
I had children. I am teaching everybody to be self-accountable, handle things where mommy.
I learned a lot. One of the things that I learned was definitely being a nag was not efficient. It didn't make him listen to me anymore. It didn't make me less convincing. It didn't work out in my favor. I never got the result that I thought I should see. And really, people as adults are going to do what they want to do regardless of how much you think you are an influence. If you want to influence somebody, be it. Do that.
Be impeccable with your word.
Don't.
You're nagging about something you're not doing your damn self. That's why you're nagging about it.
Yeah.
You're deflecting, as you said earlier. When you're nagging, you're deflecting of what the real problem is and how you can resolve. Forget that there's problems. In life, everything's going to come with something. Just like you say you can't pay a bill, and then somebody says, well, how is that not being worried about the right shit? I can't pay my bill. But then deflect and figure out, well, why can't I pay the bill? And am I doing enough to
reflect as to why you can't pay the bill?
Take action.
Exactly. Taking action is everything. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Be about it.
So if
impeccable with your word.
Right. Just imagine how much time is wasted in life. Time is valuable, right? You can't take time back. Time's going to happen. Can you imagine how much time people are wasting worrying about what somebody else is doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, it's too much. It's too much. It's overwhelming. I can't waste my life worried about what the next man is doing. I can't do it. I got too much stuff to accomplish in this life than worry. In being a nag, it made my significant other pull away even more. It made him regress even more. And it's like, it's hard because when you're in a relationship, all you want to do is help that person, especially if you see them struggling in something. And as a woman, we're nurturers naturally. We want to help. We want to make sure our kids succeed. We want to make sure that our spouses look sharp when they go out to work every day. We want to set up everybody for success, right? But maybe sometimes that means taking a step back and really focusing on what you need to do and how you can improve yourself. And then others see that who are close to you and want to hop on board with what you're doing, literally leading by example.
Absolutely. You gotta lead by example, because the more I nagged about things, or when I saw that I was making anything a big deal, being worried, it was the further I got away from myself. And the further I got away from myself, the more unhappy I became at whatever point I was in my life, because I was only picking out the negative. If I was nagging, if I'm upset about anything, it's because I'm not happy with the way things were going. And if you're not happy, it's life. Things are not gonna go as you have planned, this idea of perfection. It's not gonna go that way. Do you know how to bounce back from it? Do you know how to make it better? Do you know how to self-reflect, take it in? You know, it's kind of like when somebody tells you something you don't want to hear about yourself. Mm-hmm. When you're in a workplace and you're dealing in politics and you get that rude awakening. And you have to take some of that. You have to take some of that, break it down, dissect it, find whatever that truth is that can impact you. Because there's truth in your story, my story, whatever people say, the real truth is 3 sides to every story, you know, idea. You have to kind of take that all into account. So yeah, for me, nagging, I really work hard towards not being a nag. When it's something with the kids and I don't like the way it's going, I really go back to the drawing board and try to find a solution. When it was something like I was saying with Ian, it's so small, talking about store runs, right? People can laugh it off, but it used to really make me upset. Like, yo, you don't take pride in anything that you do. You don't take nothing serious. Like, I can ask you, I can make a list, and you're still going to go in the store and do something opposite. And then it was me like, but I'm the foolish person who continues to set myself up for failure, because why do I keep utilizing him to go to the store? And then one may argue like, well, you want to be able to depend on somebody. Is my depend not when I am broken? I want to be able to go through this walk with you. I want somebody who's going to keep me uplifted. That may be the dependency. Not that you need to get your store runs right, and me to know, yo, go to the store and get whatever you need for your family, because Ian is not the cook. Ian is not, you know, the food snack maker and the meal prepper. He's not. So
and it's like making somebody do something that you already know they're not doing, that they're not capable of doing or won't do well. You're setting yourself up to be pissed off.
Yeah, and then maybe at that point you want to be a nag because you are so toxic and unhealthy to yourself. But for sure, me, when I've been in my worst points, I've been down in my life, that's when I was the biggest nag. That's when I found the most problems, and everything complained about things that the kids did instead of what I could do as a parent to fix those things, because they are learning. They have no idea yet. They have to go through these, you know, life lessons, things around the house, cleanliness. When I'm nagged about it, it was really because I wasn't self-reflecting.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we're coming into a day and age where everybody's like, they just hating, they just this,
yeah,
and they just that, and it's like, really, are they just hating, or is
for real? Like, hater, and fuck your opinion. I get tired of hearing you. That's being worried about the wrong shit. If you have to hear that, like you're a hater, then you're worried about the wrong shit, because you shouldn't even be speaking on a walk of life. You're not walking on that path. You're not there. That's third party gossip. Man, you know, we'll always come back to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a hater. You are a hater. You know, when you really think about it, you are a hater, because you'll walk in a place and be like, oh, her lace front is tired. You are a hater. It's her lace front. Why do we care?
Mm-hmm. Because it's funny to laugh at a bad lace
No,
front.
it's really not. Here she goes. Here goes, what did she call herself earlier? The bully. Here goes bully Tina. You are being a hater at that point, and you're allowing somebody else to thrive and grow while you stuck worried about the wrong shit. Haters normally end up stuck worried about the wrong shit. They can never focus on the right shit because they are being haters.
Yeah, they too busy hating.
Too busy hating. That's a full-time job, yo. It really is. Yeah. And you know, my mom used to always tell me that, like, there's there are leaders and followers and the fools and the peasants of the land. And it doesn't mean that equally their position that they play isn't as vital as yours to this game of life. It's just that there's so many jobs and so many hats, and many different people will wear them. So there is a collection of haters out here that do always have something to say. For me, the older that I get in dealing with my children, operating with family that was inherited, I'm, as Martina spoke about earlier, being married in a relationship. When we were talking about relationships and how that worry comes into play, she said common law. I would be considered common law. I am not legally married, but have been with my guy for 12 years. We have 3 children together. So I've dealt with my share of family, in-law, drama, and people's opinions and people's cares and concerns on what I was supposed to be doing or how I was to operate. So more and more, I am very fuck your opinion.
Yeah.
Don't be worried about what I have going on, what I don't have going on, how fast you expect me to get there, how slow so.
Yeah, it's like everybody knows what's best for you, but doesn't know what's best for themselves. They don't know. Oh, what you need to do is what I think you should do.
Yeah.
How about you try this?
But that's being worried about somebody else's shit. Like, if you're not out here doing greater than I, don't have nothing to say. The people that I can learn from are absolutely the people that have been through those walks, that have gone through that cycle. If you out here struggling and maintaining and making it the same as I, don't tell me how to get to that $1 million you haven't made yet. Don't tell me what businesses I should open and should not, and what opportunities I should try and the leaps I should take out. Don't take that risk. Mm-hmm. How you gonna tell me not to take a risk because you're not taking risks?
Yeah, I mean, that's how we learn. We have to take the risk. Just because you got an outcome doing that certain risk doesn't mean that my personal outcome is going to be the same. That doesn't even make sense. How would it? We can be in the same situation and learn 2 completely separate different things with 2 different people.
Yeah.
So earlier I was talking about how in my relationship, my son's father would ask me when he would see that I was upset about something, of course he did, what's wrong, and I would give him the answer. It only reinforced the negative thoughts that he thought about himself. It only reinforced why he's a victim, why he's always doing everything wrong. In the end, I never got the result that I wanted. And the result I wanted was him not to be so angry, for him to look at himself and change his addictive ways, to be more kind to himself, more kind to me, more considerate of my feelings. Like, I was definitely that person. My codependency in our relationship was, show me that you care, show me that you love me. And I never
see, and that's so crazy to me. I have been, it was my grandmother who once told me, like, the crazy thing about our love is we love to kill. And I was like, what? And she had said it again. And she was like, we tell people, like, I love you to death. I love you to death. You just said it right now. Like, what I expect your love to be for me, I'm not really allowing, like, real love. Is that not worried about something you have no control over? Like, how a person loves you will never be the way you love them. Does that mean they don't love you?
Right. Well, now in retrospect, I get it.
Yeah. After you've gone through the cycle, the life, the relationship, yes, like, that is a worry. Like, you don't love me like I love you.
You're absolutely right. We don't love the same.
We don't, like, we are not, because we have a connection, because we found a way to be together and work out. It does not mean I love you as you love me. I operate as you operate. I'm going to move as you move. To not worry about the wrong shit is to let things flow freely. That me and Ian have gotten better over the years, because the more time we've spent with each other, the more we've had to tap into the reality of who one another are, and that the equal respect and us getting along and things to flow freely like water in the house is to allow each other to be our true divine selves. And solely to do that, we've had to let go of that worry, that concern, that control, that you need to love me like this, and you need to, it's made up. It's something I've made up in my mind of what perfection or a relationship looks like. There is no rules to this shit. All of it is made up in the form of how you want to play your game of life. When we talk about these topics, we're really talking about them out of curiosity and understanding. When we're going through these things, are other people going through these same thoughts? Are you guys stumbling upon the same questions when they arise in your life? But we worry about shit, and then you have to be able to drag yourself out of it and say, yo, that's not even for me to worry about. It's when you continue to keep worrying, then you start creating stories in your mind, then you start believing your own stories, then you start nagging and reflecting.
It's like a snowball effect from there. And this is how women become crazy.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Worried about
worry creates your own personal pyramid scheme that you ain't paying yourself for. Guess what? You're not making no money from this pyramid scheme of worry.
What's his name that invented the pyramid scheme? Started with the letter M.
Is it the guy that I watched this story with, like one of his sons killed himself?
Oh, I don't know.
In Wall Street, I don't know. This guy was like embezzling millions of dollars, but one of his sons ended up killing himself. He went to jail. It was a special that came on like HBO some years ago. I think I told you to watch it too. I remember when I watched it.
Ponzi scheme. I said it starts with the letter M. It's a Ponzi scheme.
She's so silly.
That's what it is. Dick is a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, that's a whole nother topic. But
it
no,
really is.
Dick pays you.
If you know how to use it.
It still pays you because it's scratching the itch that you wanted to fulfill. 9 out of 10 when you're taking dick, it's because you wanted it. So it's paying you. It's giving you a satisfaction.
An immediate return on your investment.
Yep, immediately. Absolutely. But is dick a Ponzi scheme? When you look around the house and you realize you have 3 children.
You've been flim-flammed.
You've been flam-bamboozled. What has happened?
Like, I did not sign this contract. I'm a sue.
That's funny.
I want my money back.
Yeah, so in closing, really, for me, it's you are going to find yourself at times worried about the wrong shit, because we are absolutely work in progress. We are absolutely people who have been programmed and conditioned. So to unlearn and reteach yourself, it is a duty. It is definitely something that can be done, but you have to unlearn everything that you've kind of been taught up to this point and relearn new behaviors in order to know how to come out of worrying about the wrong shit. Because in simple things like, why you didn't text me back, or why you didn't respond like this, or when you did respond like this, you hurt my feelings, and take your feelings out of shit.
In dealing with people, new people coming into my life, everybody has their different personalities. Everybody has ways that they're set in. You can't take shit personal. You can. The moment you start taking things personal is the moment you start worrying about the wrong shit. Nobody does anything directly to you. Nobody gives a fuck about you. How about that? that's a bar. Nobody gives a fuck about you. People are doing things because that's what the fuck they want to do. Don't take it personal.
Being worried about the wrong shit makes you toxic, you know? So when you think about that in closing, how does it affect you? I think for me, when I am worried about the wrong shit, I'm not protecting my own energy. And I'm not protecting my own energy because I'm releasing my insecurities and flaws instead of kind of zoning in on those and healing from inside out. So when I'm being reflective, I'm reflecting my divine self. So for me, when I do get into a position where I worry about the wrong shit, absolutely, I am not protecting my energy at all.
Yeah, and in my situation, in learning and growing, being worried about the wrong shit has stopped me from progressing in my own personal development and my professional growth. Being so caught up in what somebody else needs to do, it was paralyzing. It didn't allow me to be the friend I needed to be to my friends. Mm-hmm. It didn't allow me to be the spouse that I needed to be to my husband, or the parent that I needed to be to my children. It was a true disservice to myself, being worried about how I can fix somebody else, how I can make that person better, when really all of that focus should have been on me.
On you. Yeah. When you're not focused on yourself, or you are worried about things that are beyond your power, you take yourself out of that realm of focusing day to day, hour by hour. Like, that is so important, because we don't really take things day by day. Mm-hmm. We orchestrate this idea of how we think our system of life is supposed to go. And it's really not. It's day to day. Every day, reasons, seasons, and lifetime. You're going to get a new reason to life today. You're going to get something that may last you for that whole season. It may even be something that you encounter that you're going to carry with you through that lifetime. But it's day by day, hour by hour. And when you begin to worry about shit that has nothing to do with you, you take yourself away from enjoying just that day, that day to day, that moment. That hour to hours, counting somebody else's pockets is, you know, me and Ian have this phrase, 2 buildings. What is 2 buildings? 2 buildings is a person who, if you're engaging in conversation and you're like, oh, I own a building downtown and I've been doing this. Here comes 2 buildings. I own 2 buildings. One up. You know, that's the 2 buildings mentality. And it goes into that concept of being one up. I'm winning. I'm better than you. As opposed to, I ain't you. I'm never going to be you. My walk, my life, my process, it's not yours. So how you eat, how you survive, what makes you happy is not what is for me. And that's why I said protecting my energy.
You can follow us on Instagram at martini@brands. And you can also find us on Facebook at martini@brands. If you want to follow us, I can be found at _mama. Brandy is at IamBrand33. And our website, if you want to find us there, where you can listen to our podcast and find out what we got going on, where we're going to be in the community, our website is martini@brands.com. Thanks, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.